Okay. Hello everybody, it's me, Mighty here, and today we're doing, Mighty King, and today we're doing What If Deku Had Pikachu's Powers, Part 2. Now, in Part 1, you guys wanted me to give a Zuko tail, and I decided to make him evolve at specific stage, but not now. So in our last part, we did the origin, we told you how Zuko got these powers, and we finished off basically with Zuko fainting, and yeah, all that. Now, of course, Kacha and Izuku are allowed to go to UA because, well, they had the highest scores. So, of course, they go to UA and class 1A because the highest and it's the best class. When they arrive, Bakugo isn't yelling at Ida since Bakugo is with Izuku. So, Ida is actually sitting down and so is everyone else. I'll probably say that they sit down and then the teacher gets up, Azawa. Oh, by the way, I realized that Bakugo's name is Katsuki Bakugo. Forgot about that. So yeah, they sit down, then Azawa gets up and says, "Hello, my name is Azawa. Now go to your locker rooms and change." Everyone was like, "Got it, sir," and they went to the changing room and they changed and they left. They go to the back outside and they do various of tests to see where they are, basically. Now in these tests, Izuku is either in the top 10, so is Bakugo, or at least top 10, outside top 15. So as it goes on, we have the ball throw. Now Katsuki, with the training of All For One, reels the ball back and launches it with approximately 1,000 meters. Yeah, basically 300 more meters than he originally got from his original series. Now Izuku really doesn't have much power, right? So we'll probably do this. Izuku throws the ball in the air, since he has a tail, he uses Iron Tail and smacks it, launching it 900 meters. And of course, Bakugo laughs, saying, "Haha, I beat you by 100 meters. And Zuko's like, "Damn it, if I just did this, calculated that with just maybe a little bit more force, put electricity into it, I could have launched it 1,200 meters. Damn it." And of course, Bakugo's like, "Oh no, he got into his head again. It's so hard to get him out of there." As in Katsuki just slaps Katsuki slaps Zuko across the face, saying, "Hey, nerd. Get back into the universe, or I'll have to take number one from you." Haha. And of course, Suzuku instantly goes back into reality, saying, "What? No, you're not." And of course, everyone is surprised at how well these two kind of act, basically, how nice they are to each other. And of course, Azawa picks up on this. So, of course, the rest of the teams go by. And Azawa says, "Okay, so thanks to the studies you have gained, we're doing heroes versus villains, and of course, it's going to be not a tag team. Yeah, it's not going to be a tag team. It's heroes versus villains, but it's going to be hero versus villain. One villain versus one hero. And, how you basically interacted with your students, you're going to fight them." And Izuku and Bako look at each other like, "Oh, well, this should be interesting." As in, he says, "Well, our first group to come up is Bakugo, or Katsuki Bakugo, and Izuku Midoriya. Please go to the building as we will hit up the monitor room." Couple minutes go by and they go to their assigned places. Basically, there is no machine. The main objective is to take down your enemy, or the villain take down the hero, and cuff them. That's it. You can go out as long as you do not kill the person. You're fine. You can damage them, hurt them, make them bleed, but as long as they're not dead, everything is safe. And yes, they can bug the building. So of course, Azuka's like, "Okay, well, if I use my speed plus my wooden sword and my tail, I should be good." As then, All Might says, "Go!" As then Izuku blitzes off. With his sword in hand, he slices Katsuki in the gut. As Katsuki, Bakugan say. As Bakugo then, of course, looks at it and says, "That was weak." As then he turns around and does a giant explosion down the hallway, which then the hallway starts to crumble and fall down. Bakugo then jumps down, shooting a couple explosions, basically hitting Izuku, forcing him to slam to the ground. Izuku then is slightly knocked out, as then Bakugo jumps down, explodes where he is, basically around him. And Izuku takes the damage, of course, and gets pushed down 2 more stories, as he's awake, of course, from the fall, and is questioning, "What the hell just happened?" As Bakugo says, "Ha, I guess you're dead." As in, Izuku's like, what the? No! As in, electricity shoots up from Izuku, hitting Bakugo. As Bakugo starts to fall down, Izuku using his sword and his tail, Izuku slashes Bakugo in the back. Then using Iron Tail, spins around, slapping Bakugo all the way to the ground. With the Iron Tail, the sword, and the pressure, plus the floor, Bakugo is knocked out, and Izuku is able to secure the dub and lock him up. Of course, everyone is amazed, and afterwards, Izuku wakes up Bakugo for a little bit of electricity, and says, hey, that was a good game. And he's like, yeah, it was a good game. I only wish it went a little bit longer. And he's like, yeah, but we could spar later, so, yeah. And Bakugo's like, yeah, okay, bet. So that happens, and then everything goes the exact same, kind of, since people are actually split up into one-on-ones groups, which makes it different. So everyone afterwards kind of hates and also loves each other, right? Because, like, some fights, they didn't fight and they were both disqualified, but still allowed anyway from their amazing stats. And others just went at it like Izuku and Bakugo and just mopped the floor with the building and amazed the teachers. Two different sides. Now, of course, after this, the teacher's like, well, we probably need to give them some proper training in 2 weeks. And one of the teachers, let's say, principal says, oh, what about and it's like, oh, yes, I'll call him up. Or her, I do not remember 13's age, or not age, gender. Pretty sure it's a girl. So, of course, they call her, or him, they call them, and they're perfectly fine with it. 2 weeks go by, and they're on the bus. Everyone is chilling, dancing, and playing music. And then someone walks up to Izuku and Bakugo. Bakugo is knocked out because my man's way too hyper and decided to take a nap. And Izuku looks at him and says, oh yeah, what do you need, Ida? And Ida's like, oh, well, people said you're a pretty good charger. Can you? And he's like, oh, that's what you want. You know what? How about I just do this? As in, Izuku then, starts to move and then electricity goes off of Izuku's body, charging everyone's phone to 100. And everyone cheers out loud. As then, Ida just sits down. Izuku's like, sometimes I regret having electricity powers. As in the other electricity guy, who I really do not know his name. I forget it. The other electricity guy, the one that's like in the manga right now, chilling. Basically him, he does like 900 volts, whatever, like him. He charged his own phone, so it's perfectly fine. Him and Izuku actually kind of have a rivalry, but Izuku kind of beats him in every way. He's more trained, has better volts, and is just overall more powerful. So yeah. Of course, they arrive, and 13 looks around and tells him about everything. But as it goes on, a small portal opens, and villains start to walk out. Now, Izuku and Bakugo look at each other and say, okay. As in, Izuku looks at Momo. He has studied Momo. He has actually studied everyone in the class and knows that Momo can create anything her body can basically do. Or anything that's... I don't know what to call it, but it's like, she can't create a fucking nuke and nuke China, right? But she can create, like, weapons, dolls, like, that kind of stuff, basically. So, Momo creates a sword. A metal sword, and hands it to Izuku. Izuku grabs it and says, I like this. As in, he goes off. As in, Bakugo's like, everyone, you probably want to step back. As in, he blasts off. As then, the ground starts to break. As then, Korigiri and Shigaraki walk out and says, well, time to kill All Might. As in, they look forward and they see 2 children blitzing off, ready to kill. And they both step back, go back into the portal, and close it. Of course, the villains want to do the exact same thing, but the portal closes. As then, 5 minutes go by, and everyone is knocked out. A couple people are dead. No one's dead. No one is seemingly dead, because Izuku knows where to hide blood. But like I was saying, everything is fine. Until, Korigiri and Shigaraki come back. Shigaraki and Korigiri open up a portal with the Nomu. The Nomu steps out and does nothing because he can't think too much. And Shigaraki gives the order to murder these 2 kids. And of course, Izuku and Bakugo look at each other, and Bakugo's like, you think you can? And Izuku's like, can you hold up? And both of them say at the exact same time, yeah, we're ready. As in, Izuku blitzes off as Kachan holds his hand on the gauntlet pin. As in, Izuku runs around slashing the Nomu with his metal sword. As in, the Nomu just regenerates it. Izuku's like, okay, take this! As in, Izuku then hits it with its iron tail. It steps back, but it's still fine. Izuku's like, okay, yeah! As in, as Izuku then uses all of his speed to go right through the Nomu, or kind of on the side of the Nomu, as the sword goes right through the Nomu's gut. As in, the Nomu has a giant gash, as it just heals it up. Izuku's like, what the? Okay, now Kashan! As in, Kashan's like, well, bye! As in, he pulls the gauntlet with all for one fully activated. As then Kashan's hand is just broken. As the explosion goes off and Izuku blitzes off. As in, using his electricity, shocks the Nomu with the explosion. With that, basically the Nomu is just gone, dissolved basically. It's a small piece. And all you need is a small piece for the Nomu to start growing. So the Nomu starts to grow back as Izuku's like, okay, I got it. As in, he just destroys the Nomu's pieces with his electricity and Kashan using his upper gauntlet. They destroy the Nomu and All Might does arrive. All Might, seeing this, says, oh, thank God, I thought it was going to be late. As in, he looks at Shigaraki with an angry look and says, were you going to kill these students? They are the future, while you end here. As in, he blitzes off. As in, Korigiri is like, Shigaraki, we probably should be going. And Shigaraki says, no, I want to see this. As in, Korigiri says, sorry, Shigaraki, boss's orders. As in, Korigiri opens up a portal and shoves Shigaraki in it. As in, he turns around and says, goodbye, All Might. I hope to see you very soon. As in, he goes for the portal and closes it. As in, All Might launches, still going. He breaks the wall and says, damn it, I need them for interrogation. As in, Class 1A is like, what just happened? As then, they actually go to their spots for the training. And they realize, as they're going, that they're still villains. Izuku and Bako were both sent to the water place, because not only can Izuku increase his electricity with the water, but he can also test things out there, right? So while there, Izuku realizes that there's bosses, and Katsuki's arms are just gone. They're gone. The nurse is still coming. So Izuku shocks the entire boat, shocks the water, knocks everything out. The other heroes and the children are able to defend themselves. And after that, it really wasn't on the news, let's say. Yes, the news was like there was an attack, but it just said that All Might appeared instantly and defeated all the villains in a quick sweep. So instead of everyone hating UA for this, they actually kind of were fine with you. You know, some people didn't like it now, but a lot of parents were like, okay, if All Might was there to save him, then All Might's always there to save, right? They trust All Might and they trust the students. They trust the teachers because it also says that Azawa just also helped All Might and, 13 protected all the children, right? So it made the adults seem good and they just took all the credit away from Izuku and Izuku and Katsuki. But it's fine. They didn't care because they were heroes and destroyed something they are supposed to destroy All Might. Though they didn't realize they're supposed to at the time, they will sooner or later. And that's where I'm going to end it off. If you do enjoy it, then make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below. Our next goal is 100. Bye! Whoops.